In the quiet corners of Middle-earth, beyond the gaze of kings and the songs of elves, whispers once filled the dark, not of battles or glory, but of secret forbidden worship. While the free peoples honored the Valar and sang of Ilúvatar's light, others turned to shadows, to forgotten spirits, dark powers, and ancient fears. Cults, hidden sects, rituals carried out under moonless skies. Who were these worshippers? What powers did they revere? And what did they awaken in return? Welcome back to the channel. Today we delve into one of the darkest, most mysterious aspects of Tolkien's legendarium, the first cults of Middle-earth. Let's get started. Before the First Age, before even the making of the sun and moon, there was Melkor, the mightiest of the Valar. But he was not content with harmony, he sought dominion, and from the beginning, he had followers. In the Ainulindale, we read how some of the Ainur, those who shaped the world with music, turned aside from Ilúvatar's design to follow Melkor's discord. This was the first cult in a sense, a spiritual rebellion, a sect of divine beings aligned in secret against the very purpose of creation. When Melkor descended into Arda, so did they, becoming the Balrogs, spirits of flame and terror and other lesser powers. From then on, Melkor's followers multiplied, not just among spirits, but among mortal races. Men awoke in the east, far from Valinor's light, and from the beginning, they were more easily swayed than elves. Many knew nothing of the Valar, others rejected them, and into that spiritual vacuum crept Melkor. Tolkien hints that long before men came west into Beleriand, Melkor had already corrupted entire tribes. In the Silmarillion, it said, "Many of the younger men feared the elves and turned away, and were willing to listen to the servants of Morgoth." These were not just soldiers or slaves, they were believers. Some men built secret shrines. Others performed rites in Melkor's name, hoping for power or protection. These early cults likely combined fear, desperation, and ambition. And when Melkor, now called Morgoth, ruled from Angband, it's possible his agents spread this worship throughout the east in the form of dark priests, warlocks, and seers, spreading lies in his name. Perhaps the most infamous organized cult in all of Middle-earth's history rose in Númenor. At first, Númenor was a gift, an island paradise given to men who remained faithful to the Valar. But over centuries, pride grew, and fear of death. Morgoth may have been defeated in the First Age, but his legacy endured. His chief servant Sauron took up the mantle. When Sauron was captured and brought to Númenor in the Second Age, he corrupted its rulers from within. He whispered secrets of the void, flattered their fears, and stoked their hunger for immortality. And what did he offer in return? Worship of Morgoth. The last kings of Númenor turned from the Valar and built temples to the Dark Enemy. In Armenelos, the capital, they constructed a massive altar where human sacrifices were made to Morgoth. Fire and blood were offered in exchange for forbidden knowledge and eternal life. This was no mere cult. It was a state religion, the greatest dark sect in history. Even after Númenor fell in the Cataclysm, some survivors fled to Middle-earth. Among them were the Black Númenóreans, who carried this twisted faith eastward. On the shores of Umbar and in the south, they built strongholds. Some continued the secret worship of Morgoth, while others transferred their allegiance to Sauron, who had now risen as the new Dark Lord. In the Third Age, the cults of Melkor faded, but Sauron inherited the structure and the ambition. In Rhovanion, Harad, Khand, and Rhûn, Sauron became more than a ruler. He was a god-king to many. To the Easterlings and Haradrim, Sauron was known by different names: the Lord of Gifts, the Giver of Power. In many cultures, he was openly worshipped, even in human form. The Nazgûl, the Ringwraiths, were not merely his servants. They were once kings of men, possibly high priests or sorcerer lords in their own lands. Each had accepted his gift, a ring of power, and likely spread his cult in their domains. Think of it. Entire regions where dark temples stood, where statues to the Lord of the Rings were built, where rituals bound the living to Sauron's will. In The Two Towers, Tolkien writes of worshippers in the south who tattooed the eye of Sauron on their skin and marched into war as holy warriors. To his cults, Sauron was no mere king, but a god of shadow, demanding loyalty, sacrifice, and souls. Not all dark worship was directed at Morgoth or Sauron. In the wild corners of the world, there were whispers of lesser cults, those who revered ancient spirits, twisted Maiar, or even monstrous beasts. The werewolves of Tol and Garhoth, led by the dark spirit Thuringwethil and Draugluin, may have had followers who practiced blood rites. In the deep south, we hear of serpent worshippers and beast cults. Perhaps even the dragons, the ultimate spawn of Morgoth's hate, had secret reverence paid to them by sorcerers or tribes in the east. And in The Hobbit, the stone giants and creatures of the Misty Mountains behave almost like beings of folklore, perhaps remnants of even older, forgotten cults, dating back before the First Age. Their rituals, if they ever existed, are lost, buried beneath centuries of rockfall and legend. But what if their howls in the storm were more than chaos? What if they were hymns to powers long dead, or worse, sleeping? Tolkien's world often shines with light, hope, wisdom, and the will to resist evil. But behind that light, something darker waits, not just in monsters or war, but in belief, in forgotten rites and whispered worship that never truly died. From Melkor's fallen Ainur, to the sacrificial fires of Númenor, to the tribal priests of Rhûn, Middle-earth was shaped not just by great kings or battles, but by the beliefs of those who dared to call upon the dark. But all left behind echoes, rituals, ruins, and curses whispered in shadow. Traces of old powers, sealed tombs, and dark pacts that still linger in the forgotten corners of Middle-earth, waiting to be uncovered. Some worshipped for power, others out of fear of death, eternal darkness, or the lingering shadow of Morgoth himself. Which secret cult stirred your imagination the most? Was it the worshippers of Sauron, Morgoth, or something even older? Let us know in the comments. And if uncovering the hidden faiths and forbidden rituals of Middle-earth drew you deeper into the shadows, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into Tolkien's legendarium. Until our next tale, thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next age.